Hey guys, Dave here, TMG. Today we're going to do spark plugs on the 2012 Mini Cooper Countryman S. I'm not having any issues with it, but I don't have any maintenance history on this vehicle. So I figured I'd bring you along, show you how to do the spark plugs. It's super simple, but for those of you who've never done it, this hopefully will be helpful for you. Alright guys, so the tools you'll need today. I have a 3/8 ratchet. Whichever one you got. You use a 6-inch 3/8 extension. You're going to need one 14mm 12-point socket. These are used on a couple other vehicles as well. I believe I've used them on a Prius before for the spark plugs and other European vehicles. If you own a Mini, just buy it. I know a lot of people say you can use a certain 6-point, just buy it. Okay, it's a couple bucks. So 14mm 3/8 12-point socket. Now one thing I will say is this came with an O-ring inside of it because it's a spark plug socket, so it's meant to hold on to the spark plug. However, with today's spark plugs, I couldn't get it to seat down onto the 12-point area, so I had to take that O-ring out. So we're going to need a magnet today too. Alright, so these spark plugs come pre-gapped. Today I'm using the NGK Laser Iridium spark plugs. That's the part number. These work on the N18 motor and I believe the N16 motor as well. But you'll need to just do your research, make sure you're using the correct spark plugs. So these, like I said, are pre-gapped. However, pre-gap doesn't mean you don't need to check them because they can be dropped. They can be damaged in shipping. So what I do is I get out my spark plug gapper and I just want to verify that the gap is correct on these spark plugs. Alright, so these spark plugs on this vehicle should be between 2.6 and 2.8. So I'm going to slide this up. That's at 2.8. We're going to check this one. 2.8. The next one. Yeah, right at 2.8. And the last one, 2.8 as well. So those are all set. They're ready to go. If your spark plugs need to be gapped, be careful because on the Iridiums, the electrode is super tiny and you will damage that electrode unless you have a spark plug probe puller. You may just want to take it back and get another one. So now let's get back to the car. Alright guys, so like I said, super simple job. Main reason here today, like I said, maintenance wise, so you pull off your cover, it just snaps down. Two little mounts, these two little bolts. Then we need to pull the coils. And then when we pull the plugs, we're going to check for oil inside of the tube seals because when these valve covers leak, they can leak into the tube seals. And that would be a notification to you that the valve cover needs to be replaced, or the gasket for it, I should say. So to replace these or to pull these off, you grab a hold of the end here, you pull it up, and you keep pushing till this plug pops out. Once it does, you just carefully pull the plug out. They don't give you a lot of room there, but that's it. And then you grab a hold of the coil and you pull it out. So the coil is dry, which is a good sign. No broken tabs on this. That coil looks good. Again, I had no misfires, so there's no reason to replace these coils. I know some people think you should do the coils when you do the plugs. I disagree. If you don't have any issues, it's a maintenance only thing. There's really no reason to do it then. So we're going to pull all the coils out first. That's the way I do it. So this one obviously has had some water contaminated in it. That's a coil I probably would recommend replacing. I didn't buy a coil today because I wasn't expecting to have to do this because the vehicle's running fine. But I do know these are Delphi coils. I'm assuming these are the OEM coil for this vehicle. So it says Delphi right on there. I can buy replacement Delphi coils. I will do that. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. And one thing you'll notice is when I pull these out, I also stand them up in the cylinder that they came out of. No oil. This one looks really good. So we're going to set that one there. I always try and replace the coils back to the cylinders they were in. Alright, that one's up. And that one's out. And that one looks good as well. They're all Delphi coils. So, one thing I wanted to check while I'm in here, I'll show you really quick. Inside the spark plugs there. So this is the well that had the rusty coil. I don't see any real damage in there. All of them are dry. There's no oil in them. Matter of fact, the tops of the spark plugs even look really good. So my guess is perhaps these have been done before. But again, it's like 60 bucks for plugs. I'd rather just be safe than sorry. So, all right, we're going to take these out. And again, I will inspect them one by one as I remove them. So, obviously, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, if that's what you need to remember. So, we're just going to pull this spark plug out. And I'm going to take a look at the electrode. I'm going to also look at the brand of spark plug that the last person put in. Magnet. Oh, it's not all the way threaded. All right, now it is. All right. And they did use NGKs, which is great. And that's just got a little bit of carbon buildup on it. It's not really bad. A little sheen here, a little oil sheen. I'm not too concerned about that at all. I'm actually going to put this spark plug next to this one and check the numbers. ILZ KBR 7B 8G. So they're the same spark plugs even. So we're going to drop that spark plug into the hole, and I'm going to tighten it back up, and we'll move on to the next one. Again, cylinder 3 looks really good. No concerns there. Cylinder 2 also looks amazing. No concerns there. And cylinder 1 again also looks great. Little bit of oil on top of the plug right there. When you tighten these, you want them to be snug. And that's good. You don't want to crank them down, 900 foot-pounds of torque. It's unnecessary. A lot of times when I do spark plugs, I'll actually use my snap-on impact to take them out, but I never tighten them up with it. I always try and tighten them up with this, just because I have a really good feeling of how tight they need to be, and that impact can easily over-tighten this. And you don't want to do that on aluminum heads. It is not good. All right. So now we're going to put the coils back in. And again, like I said, I try and put the coils in the way I took them out, so they go back on the same cylinder. Now, as you seat this plug on here, this top will push in automatically, just a little bit. So, like I said, it's just tight fit because they make these really tight, the cords. So if it's easier, you can actually put them on just a little bit before, like this. Get it down there enough. Put your plug in, like so, and then push it down, tighten it up. We are going to replace that cylinder 3 coil. I won't do it today because I don't believe my local parts store has a Delphi coil, and I am a firm believer in using OEM replacement stuff, especially for ignition. So this one, there we go, down, make sure they're all tight. All right, and that is spark plug replacement. We're gonna put this cheesy cover back on. I don't know if this cover is going to live on this car long term or not. And then we clean up and we take it for a test drive before we park it. Guys, even on something easy like this, do a test drive. You never know if you could have had like a cracked spark plug or anything that you didn't see or didn't notice. And the last thing you want to do is park the car, not test drive it, and then need to get outside later and take off and find out you have a misfire. So always test drive your vehicle. Alright guys, and again, just a really quick test drive. I usually go around the block just to make sure we didn't cause an issue. Sounds really good. No vibrations, no shaking. So that's a good start. But we're definitely going to want to get into it a little bit and make sure, like I said, we didn't cause any issues. So, since the vehicle is cold, engine temps, like literally, I just backed out of the garage to do the job. We're not going to get out right away. We're going to just get around the corner first, and then we'll get into it and make sure it's running good. Throttle's out real nice, really smooth. So no issues. We did a bang up job today. Again guys, this is an easy job. Anybody with a handful of tools can do it. You literally need, what, 4 tools? A socket, an extension, a ratchet, and a magnet if your socket doesn't have the spark plug O-ring to hold it. And that's it. It's simple, easy, and you can get your car running right. Now again, I did say I will replace that coil. I will order one up and then I will just replace it. But again, I'm going to use a Delphi unit because I do want to use the original equipment stuff, and I like to make sure they're all matching. But that'll be something I'll take care of down the road here. All right guys, that was it. Thanks again for hanging out. Make sure to like and subscribe. I think I'm going to be doing a valve cover gasket here soon. I've been deciding whether or not I want to do one because the engine's quiet. Main reason for doing it is I really want to just look at the timing chain and see if the timing chain needs to be done. So I did order a gasket. It is due in today, but I don't think I'm going to do it right away. But when I do, I'll bring you along for it. So you guys take care. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.